Hello everyone, this is part 8 of my Shelf by Shelf challenge where I go through each of my shelves and review the books that I have there, and these are all unread books, and decide whether I'm going to try a chapter, unhaul it, or set it aside for later. So last week, I think this is about over 40 books, just about over 40 books. So it was quite the undertaking. I think I definitely bit off more than I could chew. But I did end up visiting many of these books. So I'll let you know what I decide today. This book I didn't get to. This is The Idiot by Elfie Botman. I just bought this book a few weeks ago, so I'm not too worried that I didn't get to it. So I'm going to set that one aside. Empire Falls by Richard Russo. I have tried reading this book in the past. I didn't get very far, and I didn't get to it this time. Can't say I'm that excited about this story, but I think I do want to try it one more time before I make a decision. So I'll get to that when I get to that. The Narrow Road to the Deep North. This is a Man Booker Prize winner. Again, I didn't get to this book. Let's see, what is this about? Doesn't really say. Moving deftly from a Japanese POV camp to present-day Australia, from the experiences of Evans and his fellow prisoners to that of the Japanese guards, this savagely beautiful novel tells a story of many forms of love and death, a war and truth, as one man comes of age, prospers, only discover that he has lost. Okay, I'm going to keep holding on to that one. The Pillars of the Earth, didn't get to this one either, even though I did try reading this a few months ago. I wasn't that excited about it, but I do want to try this one. So I'm going to continue setting that one aside. Same thing with A Fine Balance. Didn't get to this one, so I'm going to set it aside. Didn't get to the Great World Spin. I'll get to that when I get to it. The Things They Carried is such a famous book, but I didn't get to it. Same thing with American Psycho. Nausea by Paul Sartre. I didn't get to that. The Luminaries, didn't get to it. I read the synopsis. I can't say I'm excited about it, but I do want to give it a shot. I feel weird getting rid of this one, especially since it's also a Man Booker Prize winner. Okay, so those are all the books I didn't get to. The Leopard, I read a bit of the way in. I read the synopsis. I read the reviews. I decided I don't think I want to deal with this book, so I'm going to unhaul this. If the beauty of thrift shopping is that when you let go of books, a lot of them come back to you when you need them or when you want them again, because I'm constantly surrounded by so many used books for about $1. In fact, I think I purchased this book for about $1. So letting go of these books is not going to be as hard. And then if I ever do decide that I want to read The Leopard by Giuseppe di Lampedusa, I'll probably find it again and read it. But for now, I have just no interest in this book. It's what is the plot of this book? It's 1860s. It's the story of a decadent, dying Sicilian aristocracy threatened by the approaching forces of democracy and revolution. It sounds like a really good plot, but I just was not that excited about the reviews. The Known World. This book I've been going back and forth about. I keep trying it, reading some of it, reading the reviews, and then unhauling it and then putting it back on my shelf. This is a Pulitzer Prize winner, and the author is taking a very Faulkner-like tone in the telling of this story. And this is the story of a black slave owner, which is a fascinating concept. But I just don't enjoy reading this book. I love Faulkner. I have almost all his work, and I love reading Faulkner, but I'm not feeling this author here, so I'm going to let this one go as well. A Room with a View. I started reading this one. I never read E.M. Forster before, so I didn't really know what I was getting into, and right away, I did not like it. I did not like the way it was written. I read the synopsis. This is a charming tale of a battle between the bourgeois repression and radical romanticism. A young girl, Lucy Honeychurch, and her chaperone, products of proper Edwardian England, visit the tempestuous, passionate Italy. I'm not interested. I'm not going to read this one. This is another book that I picked up. It was highly recommended by I used to read all these books about books, like books that just recommend a ton of books and analyze them. And this was one of them. But I just found this book kind of annoying. It's a lot of bickering, nonstop bickering, and I just was not that excited about the plot. So I'm going to let this one go as well. I'm sure if I did one day in my life decide that I made a mistake, I can find that book again. Room, this was terrible. I couldn't get past the first paragraph. I'm sure there are people who love this book, but it is written from the perspective of a 5-year-old child. A 5-year-old child who's been cooped up in a room with his mother his entire life and has never known any people. And I can't read this. This is unreadable to me. And I actually skipped a couple. I went in and just would read random passages, and it's all like that. It's all written from an emotionally stunted perspective of a 5-year-old. So no, I can't do that. Good Scent from a Strange Mountain. I just found this book. This is another Pulitzer Prize winner. And this book is, it's a collection of lyrical and poignant stories about the aftermath of the Vietnam War and its enduring impact on the Vietnamese. I just was bored. I could not get into this one. I had a really hard time, so I'm just going to let this one go as well. This one didn't work out for me. And I believe I've picked this one up in the past, tried reading it, couldn't get into it. So I'm just going to cut my losses and let this one go. Afterlives, this is another book. I can't even tell you. I think I read at least a chapter of this book. I cannot tell you what it was about. This book did nothing for me. I'm going to let it go. Even though this author won the Nobel Prize in Literature. Unfortunately, I just can't read that book. The English Patient, I read the first chapter, and the writing was so strange. It's almost like there was a glass dome around the story, and the writing was keeping me from getting through to the actual story. So I can't keep reading this as well. This is just, I don't care. Like, this experience of just trying a chapter of so many books at a time really does put things in perspective, and I can tell right away when something is interesting, when a book to me is interesting, and it's a book that I want to read. I'm excited about it. And then, and then the books that just don't meet that expectation, they glaringly stand out to me during this process. And this was one of the books that I just don't want to read. This is a collection of short stories by Andre Debut. I didn't really care about the stories. I read the first story. It was mediocre. There was just nothing in this book that inspired me to keep reading. So I'm going to let that one go as well. This is the strangest result. I did not care for A Little Life. I read the first chapter. Then I went and read the synopsis, and I did not care about the synopsis. It's a very long book. I think it's almost 1,000 pages long. Is it almost 1,000 pages? Wow. Yeah, it's like 800 pages long. And I did not care about the story, and I did not like the writing style, and I did not like these characters. And I don't want to invest any more time in reading this book, unfortunately, which is very strange because for years, I don't know, I've had this book for 6 years. I thought I was going to love this book. This was going to be a favorite for me. So I'm going to let that one go. Another big surprise, The Collected Stories of Eudora Welty. And I started out with probably one of her more famous stories, which was Why I Live at the P.O. And I don't care. I don't like the writing. I don't like the story. I don't like the characters. I don't feel connected to it in any way. This is a Southern writer who writes about family problems, and I just did not connect to this one as well, which was very surprising because I thought I was going to really, really love this book. So I'm going to let that one go as well. Now, books that I tried and didn't hate, which was quite a bit. I've been busy. My Dark Vanessa, this is like a Me Too book, and it's absorbing. It was really absorbing. The first chapter really grabbed me. This is about a woman realizing in the wake of her abuser getting called out for his abuse that she was also abused, and she's kind of coming to terms with that. And I thought that was very interesting, and the writing really grabbed me, so I'm going to continue on with this one. Outline, Rachel Cusk. I absolutely loved the first chapter of this book. I think I took notes. This was fascinating. This is an author who travels to, where'd she go? Am I remembering the right book? There's just so many books. I think she's traveling to. Why can't I remember? It's Greece. Yeah, she's traveling to Greece and she's talking to people. And the first person she talks to, they discuss his failed marriages. And I really like this. I really enjoyed this book. So I'm going to continue on with that one. Special topics in calamity physics was fascinating. I loved the first chapter. I loved the second chapter. The writing is a little weird, but it's kind of eccentric, and I'm really enjoying this. And I'm fascinated with the plot. This is about I believe it's a gifted girl whose mother died, and she's traveling around with her father, who's a professor, and they're very intellectual and very strange people. But I'm totally enthralled by this book and the writing. The writing is strange, but I'm interested in it, and I'm gonna continue on with that. The Sea, I didn't get very far, but the story was absolutely captivating. This is about an actor, Charles Arroway, over 60, demigod of the theater, director, playwright, actor, retires from his glittering London world in order to abjure magic and become a hermit. Is to the sea that he returns. Yeah, that right there makes me want to read that book. And the first couple pages of it that I read, the writing is gorgeous. So this is a definite yes for me. Oh my gosh, this book is absolutely amazing. I have been reading this book ever since I tried the first chapter. I'm almost done with it. I'm obsessed. I love this book so much. I was so scared to read this book for so long, but I love this book. This is about a mother whose son committed a high school shooting, and she is just talking about her experience dealing with this through letters to her ex-husband, the father of the child. And she's trying to, and she's not a innocent person. She didn't commit any murder, but she's just talking about everything. She's discussing everything. She's creating a lot of conversation about what happened. And I find this absolutely fascinating. And the question is it her fault? Is she the reason that her son did this? Is it the father? Is it society? Is it the boy being born a monster? So there's so many questions, and I find this book so complicated and profound, and I'm so completely just obsessed with this book. So yeah, I'm going to be finishing this one probably today because I love this book. Babbitt, I read the first couple pages. I liked the writing. It was very cute. And this is about a small Midwestern city in Zenith. Anyway, so this is about a man who seems to have it all, a devoted wife, a good business, 3 kids, and a house, all the stuff, but then he's dissatisfied and lonely, and he starts to question everything: conformity, consumerism, competitiveness, the conservative party, and the middle class, and he, I guess, just goes crazy and becomes a liberal, starts having affairs. Anyway, I found that interesting. That's an interesting plot, so I'm going to keep going with that one. Brooklyn. This is a bit slow, but it's interesting. It's not bad. I'm going to keep going. This is a cute book. Plus, I paid full price for this one, so I got to read it. But yeah, it's good. I'm sort of enjoying this one. This one, the writing is beautiful. What is this about? A young woman is in love with a man torn between his love for her and his incorrigible womanizing. Oh, okay, so yeah, this is a guy who is having trouble being in a relationship with women, but the writing is beautiful. So I'm totally obsessed with this one. Orphan Master's Son. I didn't get very far, but it was definitely enthralling. The writing is very good. Kind of really grabbed me right away. So I'm going to keep going with that one. And this one is about an orphan. No, I'm sorry, he's not an orphan. He is the child of the orphan master, and he is growing up in an orphanage run by his father in North Korea. And this is right around the time of the war with the Japanese, so very interesting. Didn't get very far in mating. This is, I think, it's about an anthropologist in Africa. Losing my voice. Yes, an American anthropologist at loose ends in the South African Republic of Botswana. Yeah, I'm kind of into it. Like what I've read, I'm into it. So I'm going to keep going. Septology. This was weird, very weird, but weird enough for me to be interested. It's like a, what do you call it? It's about a man who is asking a lot of questions, questions on life. This is one of those, it's a transcendent exploration of the human condition, that's what I'm totally into. So I'm going to keep going with this one, even though it's strange. I'm definitely intrigued. A Manual for Cleaning Women. I read the first two stories in this book. The first story I didn't care for. The second story was crazy, and I did care for it. So I'm going to keep going on this one. It was absolutely bizarre. It was about this girl working at her grandfather's dentist office, and it was right after her grandmother dies, and they end up pulling out all his teeth. It was absolutely insane. But I was totally at the edge of my seat. So I'm going to keep going on that one. Girl, Woman, Other. This is about an actress. And yeah, I'm into it because it's about an actress. Let's see. Yeah, this one doesn't really talk too much about the plot. But yeah, I liked it. I liked what I read. Homeland Elegies by Aid Akhtar. I was totally into this one. This is a man talking about his father's relationship with President Trump, and then also going on about September 11. How far did I get into this? Yeah, it's a lot about Muslims in America, and it's very interesting. Totally into this book. This is definitely the book for me. Oh no, I lost my spot. Anyway, yeah, I'm really into this one. So I'm going to keep going with this one because I love it. Ship Fever by Andrea Barrett. I read the first two stories. I absolutely loved the first story. The second story I didn't really care for, but I think I'm going to reread it to make sure I didn't miss anything. But this one was interesting. It's the first story is about this woman whose grandfather knew famous scientist, the one who experimented on peas, because I can't seem to Mendel. And because I can't seem to remember anything. I've had an ear infection the last week, which I've been on antibiotics for, but I'm like having trouble remembering things and concentrating. Anyway, so Ship's Fever is one I'm going to continue on. I think all these stories are kind of science-based. I read the first book in this collection, Study in Scarlet by Sherlock Holmes. And I remember reading these stories when I was a kid and being really excited and inspired by the way that Sherlock Holmes's mind works. And it was really impressive. Reading this now, it is substantially less impressive. I'm really getting the sense that Sherlock Holmes is for kids. This is a children's book. There is nothing for adults in this book. It's silly, so extremely silly, kind of slapsticky humor. Everything is very convenient and works out exactly the way the author wants it to. And then the first story was just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to keep going and read the rest of these and probably give this book to my kids to see if they want it. But just because it's a classic and I kind of want to know the rest of these stories because I don't think I've read this. I started reading The Sign of the Four, which is the next book in the series. But yeah, Study in Scarlet is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I gave it 3 stars. It was not good. So yeah, I'll probably finish this book and then not keep it in my collection. I'm a huge fan of Agatha Christie, and this is not Agatha Christie. This is silly, but I'm going to keep going. I started JR. It was interesting. Plus, I just bought this book, so I'm not going to get rid of it. I mean, I didn't love it, but it was interesting enough to keep going, so I didn't get very far. A Week Like Any Other, I started this book as well. These are kind of mundane stories about everyday life in Russia. Nothing too exciting. It's just, but you know, I was born in Russia, so I kind of want to read this book. That is why. It's nice to read stories about the place where your family's from. So I'm going to keep going with that one. Life of Pi. I started it and it was beautiful. I really, really liked the opening of this book. I like the way it was written. Very, very good writing. So I'm definitely intrigued to keep going. Oh, this is going to fall. Oh, yes, more books I didn't get to. Glory, couldn't really get into it yet, but I do want to because I read the synopsis, and the synopsis is very interesting to me. It's kind of taking the Animal Farm style and applying it to a modern day country. What is the country? It's Zimbabwe. It's the inspired by the unexpected ouster by coup in November 2017 of Robert G. Mugabe, Zimbabwe's president of nearly 4 decades. So yeah, it's very similar to Animal Style, except it's dealing with Zimbabwe's history instead of Russian history. So I do want to read that. And then finally, I did not get to Don Quixote, but I definitely want to read Don Quixote at some point when I get around to it. This has been on my wish list to read for a long time, so I'm not going to let it go. But these books, I've decided I'm done with, and then these books I'll either put back on my shelf or finish. There's a few of these books that I'm definitely on my way to finishing, just because of how good they are and how interesting they are. And I guess my next challenge. Sorry, I'm going to tidy it up a little bit before I show it to you. Is this bookshelf. And this is different because I have multiple authors here, and some of these authors I've read and loved. Actually, most of these authors I love and read. Some of these not so much. But what I'm going to do next time I do part 9 is I'm going to choose one book from each author that I have on this shelf and review that book. And then I'll talk about which book I choose, and then I'll talk about what I decided for each book. Anyway, thank you for watching. This one was a pretty crazy challenge. I've had a really crazy week. Still recovering from my infection, and but yeah, still just discovering some incredible books that have just been sitting there. It's been a great experience. Thank you for watching.